News Radio 570 WSYR, now on 106.9 FM.
News.
No excuse for excessive force by police.
At the top and bottom of the hour.
Looting and even attacking the police only serves to raise tensions and stir chaos.
News Radio 570 WSYR.
We talked about this earlier this morning, diabetes and the fact that it's becoming almost epidemic in terms of the amount of number of cases out there. Type 2 diabetes is what we're talking about. And Dr. Richard Lee joins us to talk about how stress can add to that. Doctor, good morning. I see that stress at work raises diabetes risk by 45%. The obvious question is, in this day and age, how do you avoid stress at work?
Darn good question. The problem is some people can't avoid it. And if you could change your job, that'd be great. But the only way to really avoid it is to either change how you react to the workplace or change how those react to you in the workplace. The study was done in Germany, and the problem is that people who felt most stressed were people who felt they had high work demands and no freedom to change anything in what they do and no determination of their future or their control in their work.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility, but no control over what they have to do. That's a classic example. Is the work stress an exacerbating factor, or does it seem to be a primary triggering factor?
It's both. They found usually people who are overweight are higher risk of diabetes, and that stress will accelerate. But the scary thing is that even thin people under stress with no other risk factors would develop the type 2 diabetes. And this is due to the problem that stress creates in hormones that eventually alter blood sugar and send you down that horrible path. Well,
obviously, and now once you start messing with hormones, it gets into a whole other series of problems that doctors have to deal with. Obviously, the current figures show that type 2 diabetes is now reaching almost epidemic proportions in our society, and we keep hearing, okay, you got to eat right, and you got to get exercise, and you got to cut down on the amount of sugar you consume, and you got to reduce stress. And so basically, we have to shut off modern life at this point. Is there any avenue that we're not exploring that has promise in terms of dealing with this problem, other than the obvious things of trying to lead a healthy lifestyle?
The only thing you can do is push back against the influences that cause it. It doesn't come from only one source. As you mentioned, all those things, stress, sleep, lifestyle, food, every little bit of influence on your life that's coming from around you affects the blood sugar. And you got it. You have to do little things in all those. You've got to reduce your stress. You need to eat the right foods. You need to make darn sure you're getting the right kind of exercise with little time you have. And you've got to push back against many different forces that are eating away at your health.
I recall a few years ago, and tell me if I'm imagining this, but I seem to recall some years ago that they were working on, for lack of a better way of describing it, a diabetes vaccine, something that would change your immune system to the point where your body would actually naturally fight this. Is that correct?
Well, that may work for certain viral-induced diabetes that come on later in adulthood. They call it type 1.5, and that's an insulin-dependent diabetes. But there's no vaccine to change how your body manages energy and manages blood sugar. We haven't figured a way around that one.
So the key is eat right, live right, try to cut down on your stress, and stay away from the donuts, I guess, is probably the best suggestion.
Probably more than anything else.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Richard Lee from Stanford University with some thoughts on diabetes and stress, and I don't know how you can get rid of stress in the year 2014. It seems impossible. 18 minutes after 8, News Radio 570 WSYR. In 2 minutes, another look at traffic and weather.
It's music's holy grail. The 2014